Welcome to MakersPod, conversations by Alan Gray Makers. Join us on a journey as we learn from artisan entrepreneurs building great businesses. These are their stories. I'm your host, Mashudu Modau, and today I have a really amazing maker and builder in Hlengiwe. How are you doing?
I'm great. And how are you?
I'm very well. Please
Awesome.
Introduce yourself.
Oh, well, my name is Hlengiwe Simelane. I am a founder and owner of Magujwa Plumbing. Yeah, our company started in 2021, and we do installations and maintenance of all plumbing fixtures, water supply, water harvesting, underground and above ground drainage, and all the systems that revolve around plumbing.
Oh, wow.
Sure.
When you started, did you have all of those things, or did you start with one part of it and then build towards the other parts as well?
The nice thing about plumbing is that you don't specifically start with one thing. So you'd always do bits of everything. So as you go, you get exposed to quite a range, variety in it. Yeah.
Did you always want to be a business person?
Yes. You know, it's so beautiful how magazines portray business. Yeah. So you'd always see this beautiful woman who's wearing a suitcase, independent and everything. So you're like, I want to be that. So yeah, I've always wanted to be in business.
That's amazing.
Sure.
How did you find plumbing?
Well, after school, I studied beauty. So after beauty, before settling down and getting married, I wanted something that can give me a breather to be with my family. So I said, let's change careers. So I went in the college and I studied N courses in civil engineering. After that, I looked for work for a while and I wasn't finding it. So at last I found plumbing, which needed the skills that I've learned in civil engineering and courses. So that's how I got into plumbing. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That is an insane transition.
It is.
From beauty to plumbing.
It is. I guess when you are growing up, you're kind of looking for an opportunity at the time. You don't really know what you want to do. So I think later in life, you then know what is you want to do. But as you grow, you discover what you want to do as you go along. Yeah. So that's how that's how it is.
So when you had the skills, right, and you already, have the N qualifications and all of that, did you immediately want to start a business, or did you try and find a job first, other opportunities?
Yeah, I did wanted a job first. I think I'm one person. I don't want to do something I don't know. So I wanted to go into a space where they're doing that, where people are experienced and see how everything works and be confident before I could open my own thing. Yeah, so that's how it was with me.
And how did you find the Startup Academy?
Startup Academy, I found it when it was from a friend, because I think I've went through quite a number of programs in pursuit of self-development. So when you are on a program, then they introduce you to another program. That's how I got introduced to Startup Academy with Alan Gray Makers. Yeah. So yeah, that's how I got to know about it.
What was that experience like?
It was quite amazing. It's quite amazing because for me, it just came at the right time. Because after having done my apprentice, I was like, now I think I'm ready. I'm sure I don't want to be an employee. I want to be an entrepreneur in plumbing. So I think I was like, perfect. I got to learn how to run this business if I have to, start one. So it just came at the right time with me. So I joined Alan Gray Makers.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You've been on this journey for the past 4 years.
Yeah.
Since 2021. What did day one of trying to start this business look like?
With me, because when I was working, I did it on weekends for family and friends. So I was like, okay, do you want a tap fix? I can do that for you. Let's see how it goes. So I kind of got to do it before I formalized it. So it was kind of easing into the journey. Yeah. So that's how it started.
So at that stage, does your family understand that you are self-employed, transitioning towards building a business? Or are they just like, Enzani lo muntu?
Yo, my family is like, Hlengiwe is always doing things. Can you just do one thing? Like,
Yeah.
because even with beauty, there was a point where I'm like, you know what, let me just pursue this as a business. And then going along, I was like, okay, let me park it. Because I think this one needs like, okay, better capital. And now I want to park it for a later time. So when I did plumbing and I was like, I don't want to be an employee. I want to be in a business. They're like, oh, this person, always business. Why can't you just get a job and work?
Yeah.
But they were kind of supportive because they knew that that's the kind of person I am. I want to just do something, and in a way be in control. Yeah.
So what does the transition look like from, doing it for friends, doing it for family on weekends to trying to build a business from that?
Sure. I think it's a rude awakening, but necessary for the journey. So when I transitioned to doing it full time, I realized, okay, so jobs are not as frequent as they used to be when I was still having another job. So now you have to adjust from just being called and you can say, I can always do it, to having to find work. You're like, I have to have work. So that was the difficult thing, because now you're no longer just going to work, you're also looking for work. And in this looking for work, you have to make sure that everything goes accordingly, Yeah.
What would you say is the toughest part of trying to build a business?
It's not knowing. It's not knowing the time frame from when you started to where you want to get to, and how is the journey going to be? Is it going to be a smooth journey? Is it going to be having a lot of challenges? Are you going to be in a smooth ride or a very rough ride for a while? That is the scariest part when you are in business full time. Yeah.
And up until now, what has been like one of your highlight projects?
Highlight projects is working with schools. Working with schools, I think it has opened me up to a different type of approaching my business and my clients. So working with schools, it kind of opened me up to having to move from just working to a certain type of client to working with different type of clients within a school. So it's kind of very interesting, and it's very challenging. Yeah, it's very challenging, but it's beautiful.
Can you talk about the journey that you've been on, say, in the last 2 years, as your business now matures and you're getting bigger and bigger contracts, and you're doing maybe even subcontracting in the work that you're doing?
Yeah, I can say, I would love to say bigger and bigger, but it just goes bigger, smaller, nothing, then
and
something,
then
and then like big, like, oh, we're going big, then nothing. So it's that challenge in the process to, like, you never really know when the big thing is, but the mindset that will help you to grow and be there is to just say, if there's a problem, I'll solve it, no matter how small. So if you have that mindset, you approach every project with the same kind of respect, the same kind of integrity, so that you're prepared even when the bigger projects find you. Yeah, that's the thing.
And how do you sort of adjust your mindset, when you have to navigate this up, down, the difficulty of, 1 month you're, Bill Gates, everything's good. And then the next month, things are not so good. And your business needs to, go through the rougher parts of things.
Yeah.
How do you navigate that?
My faith, man. I doubt if there's an entrepreneur who does not have faith. I mean, the entrepreneurial journey requires you to have faith to see things before they materialize. So knowing where you are going always keeps you in a place where you're like, I know the big thing is going to come. So let me just keep being diligent in what I am doing right now, whether it's waiting before your project, whether it's preparing yourself when growth comes, whatever it is. You never like sitting doing nothing. You're always preparing yourself. If there's no project, you're upskilling yourself. If there's nothing, you're networking. There's always something going on in the background. So there's never really not doing anything. Just because there's no project that will give you the ching at the time, it doesn't mean that you're not doing anything.
It doesn't mean the work stops.
It doesn't mean
there's
yes.
just other different work that needs to be done in that time.
Absolutely.
You know, you also chose one of the most difficult journeys to go on, which is being a solopreneur, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is you, it's on you. Was there something that informed that choice? And why do that instead of finding a partner and trying to build the business with other people as well?
The thing is, you know, when you have a vision, you have values that guides that vision. You have certain standards of how you want to do things. You're not always going to know how a person is unless you are guided to that person, or you really learn about them, or you really see through their work or other things that this is the partner that I can go into with. So the soul ownership, that thingy, it helps you to have flexibility, flexibility into the market changing and adaptation and all of those things. And it also helps you to really enforce what your values are in running the business. So yeah, that was one.
You know, obviously you still have partners that you work with that are not necessarily in your business, but you do business with.
Absolutely.
Can you talk a bit more about, you know, the role of subcontracting in your business, and how those relationships work as well?
Okay. So when you get into subcontracting, it depends on which project are you getting into. So there might be a set of skills that you have not been exposed to, which you'll need other people for you to be able to take that kind of project. So having different people which you can always go to and form a partnership for that certain project or whatever, it always helps, because you do not have it all, you know, you do not know it all. So you always need those support pillars here and there so that you can do diligent work in what you are going to embark on.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know, you mentioned how important values are. Are there other things that you look for in partners when you do have contracts like this?
Absolutely. You need excellence. You need excellence. The person has to know what they're doing, in as much as you do give room for grace, but the grace doesn't need to be on the actual work. Can you just know what you're doing? Yeah. And then have grace for the little mistakes, yes, but you have to have a partner who knows what they're doing, because in as much as you are working, giving out services, you also have to respect the client who had given you the work. Yeah. So that is what's important.
Can you share like an experience that you had, you know, bringing together these great partners to service a great client as well?
Yeah. So when I was bringing different partners into having this kind of project, it was always looking at what they are doing at the moment, and we cross paths, you know, with when we're doing this project, and you kind of say, okay, I've seen you where, and I think I can learn something from you. So during that process, it's when you get to meet those people and get to be exposed to their skill set that can benefit you in that particular project. So it's been quite a humbling and a learning curve, because sometimes you would think a person is the superstar and they're like kind of going to the superstar journey. You know, sometimes you think, okay, let's see what happens, and the person surprises you. So you always need to have room to give people the space to do what they know. Yeah. You know, so it's a good one. It's a good one.
Do you ever think about your first big project and how that felt for you?
Sure. Yes. It just enforces, okay, it just anchors the fact that I love being in business. It just does that, because you just kind of see how the work, the project gives you that adrenaline. You're like, yo, let me just plan. And then tomorrow I'm doing this. It's just beautiful. You're not in one place. You're making sure everyone is comfortable in what they're doing, not comfortable, lazy, but comfortable to excel in their own space, not being micromanaged, not being, you know, doubted, but being given room to be the best at what they do.
Yeah.
Sure.
How important is customer service and really building those relationships with all the people that you work with?
Very important. Very important. You remember, customers, they bring other customers. So you look at a person not as a person, but you look at them giving you more clients somewhere. You never know where people meet, but the fact is that people meet and they talk about their experiences. So you always want to give your best, and you always want to address to your best of ability the challenges, maybe the disagreements, whatever you have, up to in the best possible way as you can. Yeah, to keep those relationships going.
You know, just thinking about the conversation we had just off camera, you know, you were mentioning just how, you know, in the early days, people call a plumber, they call you, and you actually arrive and they go, excuse me, where's the, who's the?
Yes. Oh my.
Can you share those experiences?
Sure. You know, it's beautiful when you find clients that will embrace it. It's very challenging when you find the clients who will be asking, actually, where is the plumber? Where is the plumber? But I think that speaks to your character as well. Because you do not need to be faint-hearted. You must expect that. So when you're going in there, it's you being able to make the client see that you are the plumber. You don't bulldoze that, but you show them through your work. Your work has to speak to yourself. Tell them about what they will get when you're done, and they will start trusting you. So you don't need to force them. They will see. And, you know, they will see your work, and you must know what you're talking about. So when you talk to them, they must see that, okay, she is the plumber. Yeah. She is the plumber, you know. So if you'll have to put a little bit of jargon so that you can give yourself time to explain it. Yeah. So I say, no, I know actually what I'm talking about.
Yeah, like, no, if I'm confused, you know what you're talking about.
Absolutely. So you've got to have ways in which you engage the client so that they can see that, okay, this actually is the person. I just need to just chill.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, if someone's watching this and they're an artisan, you know, they're a plumber, they're a builder, and they've never thought about using those skills to build a business, what sort of advice would you give them?
If they haven't thought of it, it's quite a difficult one. We will have to just take them to Startup Academy so that they can start thinking about it, so that they can groom that mindset. Because you cannot be forced into something that you not foresee, but you can be trained to be able to see that opportunity. Because if someone can see the opportunity, it's easier for them to get into it and actually explore it. But if they haven't seen it, they want to be where they are because that's what they know. So what I can say is that you can join programs, get into programs which can broaden your mind, which can give you that ability to see beyond what you're doing and to see other opportunities that can grow you as a person and for you to give your services in a broader space.
Thank you so much. Where can people find you? And if they're looking for, you know, a plumber who is excellent at what they do, but also believes in excellence in everything that, you know, goes into the work. Yeah. Where can they find you, and what's the best way to reach you? Okay.
So now the best way to reach us is by calling us. Our number, I can give it, right?
Yes, you can.
It's 067-8253-101. And our email is magujwaplumbing@gmail.com. And we are on Instagram, Magujwa Plumbing, and we're on Facebook as well.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.